Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Clash between police and members of Islamic movement in Nigeria in Abuja leaves unconfirmed number of persons killed. President Buhari directs IGP to avert breakdown of law and order. President Buhari sets target of 11,000 megawatts of power by 2023 as the federal government signs power roadmap agreement with German company Siemens. Supreme Court strikes out application by All Progressives Congress, asking it to review the consequential orders of its earlier judgment on the Zamfara governorship elections. And at least 17 people killed and 30 others injured following a bomb blast outside a hotel near the international airport in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. For more information on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com. youtube.com/channelsweb has videos of all our shows. President Muhammadu Buhari has challenged German-based company Siemens electricity distribution and transmission companies of Nigeria to work hard to achieve 7,000 megawatts of electricity by 2021 and 11,000 megawatts by the end of 2023. The president mentioned this during his signing of an electricity roadmap agreement with Siemens at the State House. The deal is a product of a meeting held between President Buhari and the German Chancellor Angela Merkel on August the 31st, 2018. Our correspondent Gloria Umezuke reports.
This meeting is as a result of President Muhammadu Buhari's latest effort at significantly solving Nigeria's power challenge.
The challenges in the power sector.
The federal government is signing an electricity roadmap agreement with German-based company Siemens in order to help fix the nation's transmission and distribution infrastructure, which it says currently delivers only 4,000 megawatts.
Our goal is simply to deliver electricity to Nigerian businesses and homes. My challenge to Siemens, our partner investors in the distribution companies, the transmission company of Nigeria, and the electricity regulator, is to work hard to achieve 7,000 megawatts of reliable power supply by 2021 and 11,000 megawatts by 2023 in phases 1 and 2 respectively.
Previous governments have made efforts through independent power projects, according to the president, without much success.
After these transmissions and distribution system bottlenecks have been fixed, we will seek in the third and final phase to drive generation capacity and overall grid capacity to 25,000 megawatts.
The president also maintains that no middleman will be involved in this government-to-government framework, guaranteed to improve investor confidence, create jobs, and boost economic growth. After the signing, Nigeria's partner Siemens is expressing confidence about this three-phase project.
It will create thousands of new, qualified and well-paid jobs. It will enable the establishment of small and medium-sized businesses, and it will enhance Nigeria's industrialization and stability as one of the leading nations of the African continent.
The president has given an assurance that this deal, although not a full solution to Nigeria's power sector challenge, has the full backing of private sector owners of distribution companies and is guaranteed to improve Nigeria's electricity supply challenge. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
To legal matters now, the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal today fixed August the 5th for the adoption of final written addresses in the suit filed by the Hope Democratic Party and its presidential candidate, Mr. Ambrose Owuru, challenging the election of President Buhari. HDP and its presidential candidate opened and closed their cases with only one witness and some documents tendered as exhibits. Our correspondent, Amaka Okafor, reports.
Parties in the petition by the Hope Democratic Party challenging the election of President Muhammadu Buhari awaiting the sitting of the tribunal. The tribunal had concluded the pre-trial hearing of the petition on July 18, 2019. In opening its case, the counsel to the HDP, Mr. Eze Nnanyelugo, called his only witness, Mr. Yusuf Ibrahim, who insisted that there was a referendum held on February 16, 2019, from which its presidential candidate, Mr. Ambrose Oworu, won and emerged as Nigeria's president. Mr. Ibrahim, who appeared before the five-man panel of the tribunal, led by Justice Mohammed Garba, said the referendum was held by the Citizens Observers Referendum Election Rights Protection of Nigeria, with over 50 million Nigerians voting in favor of its presidential candidate, Mr. Ambrose Oworu. On the cross-examination, the witness agreed with all three respondents in the case, which include the Independent National Electoral Commission, President Muhammadu Buhari, and the All Progressive Congress, that indeed there was an election on the 23rd of February 2019. The party also tendered several documents which were admitted by the tribunal as exhibits. They include some copies of newspapers, a document titled Citizens Observers Referendum Election Rights Protection of Nigeria, and the Independent National Electoral Commission's final list of presidential candidates.
A portion to Section 2 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended is actually made provisions for a referendum to be conducted at the instance of the citizens. And it was pursuant to that that purported that the referendum was conducted, and that is why we're in court.
They are not contesting that they won the February 23rd presidential election. So what are we calling witnesses for? Was there a referendum? Did you do referendum?
The tribunal subsequently fixed August 5, 2019 for the adoption of final addresses by parties in the petition. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
And staying with the courts, the Supreme Court today struck out an application by the All Progressives Congress asking it to review the consequential orders of its earlier judgment on the Zamfara governorship elections. In a unanimous ruling of 5 panel of justices led by Justice Bode Rhodes Viver, the Apex Court maintains that the application is incompetent, lacks merit, and should not have been brought before it in the first place.
What has transpired this morning is that the court, the Supreme Court, being the apex court of this country, has said that the application itself is incompetent and ought not to have been brought before them at all. And they do not have the jurisdiction to entertain it whatsoever. And that has always been our position, that it is indeed an insult to the highest court of the land to bring such an application before them in an appeal they had decided finally. Like they have always said, the Supreme Court is not infallible because they are final, but they are final, and therefore they are infallible. So they have reinstated that point, as they have always done over and over again. They remain the final court of the land, and their decision on Zamfara case is final, and that is the end of it. No person can go and wake it up like they were trying to do.
Meanwhile, the lead counsel to the appellate is insisting that the decision of the court was based on technicalities, as the merits of his application were not looked into. He says he will tighten those loose ends that the judgment has pointed out and submit his application again.
We have come to the court to challenge not the judgment delivered by the court, but the consequential orders which the court claimed followed the judgment. And our view is that the consequential order did not follow the judgment because the court was functionis officio at that time and they lacked jurisdiction. However, our attention has been drawn that there are 5 judgments that were written and we only produced one of the 5. And therefore, it does not fall within their rules to listen to us. So the matter was never taken on its merits. What the court says is that we have not tidied ourselves up properly. According to their rules, we need to produce all the 5 judgments, not only the lead judgment. We have taken a cue from that. We will go back to the drawing board again, and since the matter was only struck out, it was never taken on its merits. We will come back. we will come back.
The Supreme Court had on May the 24th delivered a judgment that the All Progressive Congress did not conduct valid primaries in the build-up to the 2019 general elections. A Bauchi Divisional High Court of Justice today granted an order of interim injunction that status quo be maintained in any matter that concerns the Bauchi State House of Assembly. The order takes effect from last week Thursday, July the 18th, 2019. This implies that the Speaker of the House of Representatives and members of the committee investigating the crisis in the State House of Assembly must not proceed with the report of their fact-finding mission in the state, pending hearing of the motion of the substantive suit. Other respondents are the Inspector General of Police, the DSS, Governor of Bauchi State, and the National Assembly, among others. The judge also fixed October the 3rd, 2019, as the return date for the motion on notice. And when the news at 10 returns, Bank of Industry's asset base exceeds 1 trillion naira for the first time in the lender's history. That will be on Business News. Plus, at least 17 people killed after a bomb went off near the international airport in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. Coming from our London bureau is Around the World in 5. That's all coming up in a moment. Just stay with us.